Polyend tracker. I got it in the mail this week? What day is today? So I got the Polyend tracker last week in the mail. Thank you, Polyend, for sending it in. Yeah, they wanted me to try it out, so I'm trying it out. I made a video explaining how it works, showing you how you can slice and work with slices, make a beat on this machine. So if you're curious, tune in and I'll show you how to work with this thing. You have 8 tracks in the tracker. You can see it like this, 4, and you can jump between the 8 tracks with the arrow where it goes everywhere. Just navigate with the arrow. If you want to input something, you press record, input a note, delete the note. So it's all about steps. You always go to the step that you want and you record something in. You can record like you would. Let me go to a different pattern. So I'm in pattern number 1. I'm going to go to 2 and just start a new pattern fresh. There are different ways of recording. You can do it the normal way of just record, play, and then put in the notes. So let's undo all that. Instead of playing it, you can just go to the step that you want. Select the slice that you want. So I have a drum loop chopped up and I can input the note, input the slice that I want in the step that I want. Other ways of doing it, we have a fill option where we have different ways of filling in the steps. You can say that I want to fill in each 3rd step, each 4th step, and so on. So you have different ways of inputting. You have scales that you can work with. You can randomize your inputs as well. So there are several ways of inputting notes into each track. We would just spend a whole video trying different things. But this, I think, is more geared towards people that like to program their beats. I'm one of those people as well. I always like to program my stuff, go back, change something. You have length. So the length is regarding steps, not bars. So I'm using 32, which is 4 bars, and then I can just input notes. The way I actually recorded this, I'm going to go into pattern number 2, is to choose every 2nd step. So the way that works is that once you put a note in, it jumps 2 steps. So I can just go in and record it. To change the BPMs on this is pretty simple. Just go to song and you have the BPM right there. You can change it like that. I know this is going to be around 90 BPM. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Then you just play it. Very, very simple. I'm going to select everything, delete. So each track has 4 lanes. If you want to input data into one of these lanes right here, you're going to have to select what you're working with. I want to work with effects, or I want to work with this lane of effects, or I want to input my instrument. You have the instruments on the side. You see that you have a window popping up to help you select what you want to input in the track. So one track can have different instruments or different effects. Each step will be its own little thing. I can have an instrument with a different effect on each step. Always remember that these are monophonic, so only one sample can play at a time, which means if you put a sample right here and then you put another sample after that, this sample will mute the previous sample. So, it's monophonic. And it's also a mono sampler. Even though you can listen to what's coming in stereo, once you sample it, it will turn that file into mono. It looks a bit scary, but it's super, super simple. There's not really much to this machine, which makes it actually really easy to work with and intuitive as well, even though it looks kind of scary. For some of you that don't like, let me go back to my pattern 1. For some of you that don't like this view, if you go into the configurations, I think it's right here. So change it to horizontal, apply, and then it goes from left to right like you're used to. I actually prefer the vertical. It just gives you a better view of the lanes and what you're doing. I'm used to actually having this view on the MPC as well. There is a sort of tracker, which is the step edit in the MPC. So I'm kind of used to this view anyway. If you have beat slices like I have, it will show up right here in the notes. If you're in the instrument, you can select which instrument you want to input, and you can load up to 48 different instruments, and then you have the MIDI channels that you can use up to 16. Yeah, you can always choose from these little pads right here. So I have my drum loop set to instrument number 1, and if I want to play the slices, I have to go here into the notes. If you go into the instruments parameters, you can change this sample right here. So you have volume, panning, tuning, fine tune. You have some effects, which is a reverb send for all the samples. You have a reverb send. You have bit depth overview. When you apply something, you're applying to the entire sample. So if you change the tuning here, you're going to be changing the tuning for the entire drums. You also have LFOs for panning, cutoff. You have your envelopes, stuff for the wave tables and the granulars. Low pass, high pass, band pass. I'm not going to dive too deep into this. You already know what this does. Again, it applies to the entire sample, not just one of the slices, right? Right, so that's basically the instruments. You have some effects here. You can send the reverb to the drums if you want. So to change the effects, you have to go into the master, and this is where you have your mixer. You press on the mute and just change the dial here. You can change the volume. You can mute the tracks from here as well. You can solo just by pressing shift. The master track has 3 windows. You have the mixer, and you have a mixer here for the delay, the reverb, the line in, coming in, so you can mute the sounds coming in, or you can listen to them to preview other samples as you're playing the beat. Then you have this window as well, which is where the reverb, so if we go back here, you see reverb, delay. You have a limiter as well, pretty cool to use. You have an EQ. These are for the main outs, for the overall. You have a bass boost in the space effect here on the side. You can configure your project from here. You have several things. I'm not going to get into this, but an interesting thing for people that make boom bap and kind of hip hop, you have aliasing here. So project settings, you have anti-aliasing. If you turn it off, you'll hear that ring noise that we're used to from machines like the 1200. I know you can hear that aliasing of the sample right there. And if you filter it a little bit, it will make it sound smoother. Yeah, but let's not use that for now. If I change it to on again, now you have that smooth, clean sound. You have a sample editor. All these effects here on the side are destructive, meaning once you apply the effect to the sample, it will change the sample. So there's no way to go back on that unless you undo the step or you upload the sample again. You have the common effects. You also have time stretch. I haven't tested that yet, but you have the common effects right here. Fade ins, fade outs if you need that. When you're in the sample editor window, you can always test out the pitch. So for you to chop something, I'm going to go here into the sample playback. These are my slices of this sample. So this is actually a loop from Cooking Soul Sound Pack, the latest one. And I've sliced it up. You can adjust the start point of each slice right there. Easy. Once you slice your sample, you can just use it from the pads right here. There are differences between beat slice and slice, and that's how you use it in the pattern. What I'm going to do now is actually sample something. I'm going to show you how to record something. So yeah, you can sample from the radio as well. Or you can sample from the line in. So I have this connected to my 404, which is connected to the laptop. So I'm sampling straight from the laptop right now, and I just need to go into the record and it starts recording. Stop. It slices it up for you. You can zoom in a little bit and adjust the start point. Once you do that, you can save. Wait, cancel. Let me just crop this. You can also crop it later on if you want, but I'm just going to keep it like this and save. You can input your, there's an auto name here for ship. I actually prefer to just say horn, and save and load, which means it will save to the project that you're working on. If you just want to save, it will save it to the folder of the recording. I want to save and load because I want to use it in the project. So save, load, and it's right there on my slot number 4. Okay, so let's go here into the pattern. I'm going to copy this pattern to a new one. So I'm just going to go more, and you have different options here. Press record to highlight them. You can invert sections, duplicate the pattern, different things that you can do to the pattern. Render the selection, so I can render everything that's in this track and turn it into a WAV file. But what I want to do now is to copy the pattern, go to the next pattern and paste. And I'm going to go into track number 3 and I'm going to drop those horn samples. And all I need to do is select the instrument, horn, done. You can say like, I just want it to go up to here. And then I can go fill, and it has filled my section with those samples. I did it wrong probably. Each step I said C2, you have to put it on C5, which is the original sample. So just something to be aware of. Going back right now into the pattern again. I haven't talked much about these lanes. What these lanes do is that you can add effects to each step, and they could be different effects for each of the steps, right? And go play. So now I'm already playing with really the beauty of this sequencer, which is adding stuff to the automation lanes, all these effects that you can apply, and just building your song this way. Another thing that I wanted to show you is the song mode. So once you go to song mode, and this is where you can change the tempo as well. So if you press record, you can then add slots, and you can create the arrangement this way. Yeah, of course, man. This is totally different from what I'm used to working with. You know, at first I was trying to make a beat as I always do with my MPC, but quickly I realized that this is a different thing, really. And it's not that you can't make beats like you do on the MPC. You can do it. You can sample, chop, and sequence your chops. But there's a lot more to this. There are different layers, and just the workflow takes you to different places with this machine. So yeah, I didn't get to show you a lot of things that the machine does. I didn't go in depth in the song mode. I didn't show you the perform mode, how that works. But really, you know, it will take me a long time to say everything about this machine. I'll do more videos on this. Especially, you can use this for other situations like working with it MIDI out and sending it to your synths. I was working with the Argon and this at the same time. You can just create some beautiful, beautiful sequences with this. So, you know, my first initial thoughts about this machine is experimental. Is, you know, just having fun and creating things, not thinking too much of what you're going to do, but rather following the machine and letting it kind of control your samples in a way. It's here it's kind of a reverse process. It's more the machine telling you where to go, because, you know, you really have to utilize those lanes, those automation lanes, and then it goes somewhere that you were not expecting. It's a very interesting unit. Congratulations to Polyend. Actually, really, really good. You can plug this into your laptop, and laptop will power the unit, which means you can put this on the side with your laptop and just take it anywhere. It's about the same size, really. It's even smaller than my laptop. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about this, I'll make more videos about it. I'll see you on the next video. Peace. Take care.